In this video, we are going to discuss about heat injuries. There are 5 clinical conditions that can occur as a result when there been exposure to excessive heat atmosphere, and what are the salient features of each of the clinical conditions, and what are the differentiating features from one to another, and which is milder form and which is severe form or a life-threatening form, and what are the first aid measures that to be adopted when there been this sort of presentation in an individual, and what are the other warning signs we need to anticipate while treating the individual with this sort of presentation, and the definitive line of management has been discussed. And in later section of the video, if it has resulted in a disease or a death of an individual, and how to manage in autopsy, what are the definitive autopsy findings, and followed by the medical legal importance relating to heat injury have been discussed in detail. The heat injury can result in these 5 clinical conditions. First and foremost, heat edema, heat rashes, cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. And the difficulty here is each word or each terminology has a synonym, and by repeated reading those synonyms, where the other terminologies could maybe even asked in exams as a 1-mark question, and where a candidate did not remember those, but he knows the answer for another terminology, may find difficulty in answering. It is better you remember the synonym to other terminologies while reading, either by making a mnemonic or repeated reading, you can master in it. And the first and foremost condition is heat edema. The synonym for heat edema are Colombo flap and Dick ankles, and it is a very mild form of heat illness, and the targeted sites being the dependence of tissue, especially the lower extremities. And here the patient manifests as a swelling over dependent areas and especially over the lower extremities, and elevating the limb for an appropriate time period, and adequate rest and hydrations are the other preventive measures by which heat edema can be prevented. And a definitive rest is needed, and avoiding sun exposure for a certain time period where these clinical conditions can be prevented. Again, it is a very mild form of heat illness. Coming to the is heat rash. The synonym for heat rash are lycanthropis, malaria rubra, prickly heat. These are the synonym to heat rash. And again, this is again a very mild form of heat illness, and it manifests as rashes over anterior surface of elbow, posterior surface of knee, and the anterior chest region, sternum, clavicle, waist, and axilla are the areas of predominant rash presentation. And the body parts which have been not affected are palms and soles are being spared. And again, a milder form of disorder, and by rest and topical applications it can be prevented, and exposure to sunlight if it been avoided for a certain time period where these heat rashes are self-limiting. And coming to the third clinical entity of heat illnesses are heat cramps. The synonym for heat cramps are cane cutter cramps, fireman's cramp, stoker's cramps, and miner's cramps. And the most commonly used synonym are stoker's cramps and miner's cramps. And here there have been exposure to high environmental temperature, so there have been a loss of water and salt through sweat, and it causes a rapid dehydration. And when there been an exposure where the individual will suffer from a sudden onset, and severe painful paroxysmal cramps can occur, especially over the extremities and over abdomen region. And other associated Symptoms will be of dizziness, tinnitus, headache, nausea, and vomiting will be the other associated symptoms. On examination, face appears flushed, pupils appear dilated. And based on the age group that have been exposed, if in case if been a younger age group where an oral supplement, fluid supplement, or otherwise in a rehydration measure and adequate rest can be in a self-sublimating condition. And in case of an old age group where if he is been suffering from pre-existing disease conditions or otherwise other health disorders, a diabetic or a hypertensive, where appropriate treatment is needed, and in extreme cases where hospitalization is compulsory. And in part of an RMP, where he should able to make a diagnosis either by through the history or by the presentation, and where he need to secure IV lines and a saline infusion can be relief to the individual, and the other routine treatment protocol is applicable. Coming to the is heat prostration, and the synonym for heat prostrations are heat syncope, heat exhaustion, or otherwise heat collapse. Heat prostration, it is a condition of collapse where they're not associated with increased body temperature, and other precipitating factors like muscular weakness or an increased workload on an individual on a high environmental temperatures, or by wearing an unsuitable clothing can result in heat exhaustion. And most commonly it is associated with depletion of electrolytes, and extreme exhaustion can lead to excessive sweating and peripheral vascular collapse. And severe dehydration, again it is a life threatening condition. And coming to clinical features, patient sudden feel of weak, giddy and sick, nausea, dizziness, flushing of face, throbbing headache, dimness of vision, pulse is weak, feeble, and temperature subnormal. Alright, and temperature subnormal means it doesn't increase in case of heat prostration. One such feature which will able to differentiate from heat hyperpyraxia or heat stroke. And again I repeat, in heat prostration where body temperature remains normal or otherwise without increasing, but in case of heat pyraxia where the body temperature increases. And here again it is an extreme exhaustion and hospitalization is required, and the individual need to be removed from the source site, and even death can occur when there been a lack of first aid or appropriate treatment. Coming to the last entity of thermal illness is of heat pyraxia. The synonym for heat hyperpyraxia are thermic fever, sunstroke, and heat stroke. Again, a life-threatening condition, and here the thermoregulatory mechanisms, when there's been a body temperature increase, where cutaneous blood flow, and by the mechanism of sweating, where body temperature is being regulated, and a thermoregulatory mechanism is being located in hypothalamus, and where it lacks to function, and where there been a gradual increase in body temperature, and when a rectal temperature of the individual is being monitored, it will be greater than 41 Celsius. And heat hyperpyraxia most commonly associated with neurological disturbances, and in neurological disturbances where individual will show features of psychosis, delirium, coma, convulsions, and even stuporness. And other predisposing factors which govern heat pyraxia or otherwise which increases heat pyraxia are high temperature, lack of adjusting to the environmental conditions, minor infections, increased muscular activity, extremes of age, pre-existing disorders, intake of alcohol, exposure to tranquilizers, obesity, lack of air movement, and wearing a unsuitable clothing. And these are the factors which modifies. And again, hospitalization is required, and we need to anticipate for neurological warning signs and life threatening, right? And in clinical features, where individual complaints of dizziness, weakness, nausea, vomiting, confusion, faintness, and individual adopt an staggering gait, purposeless movement, disorientation, drowsiness, irrational behavior will be the other clinical features. And predominantly, neurological signs and symptoms are seen in this thermic fever or sunstroke. And on examination, pupils appear contracted, and delirium, blurring of vision, convulsions, collapse, and unconscious can occur over the period of time. And again, it is a life-threatening condition, and it carries a very bad prognosis, very high mortality when there been a lack of medical attention. And relating to the triad for making a diagnosis of thermic fever or sunstroke or heat hyperpyrexia, where high body temperature, dry skin, and neurological deficit. And here there have been lack of sweating. Right, a two feature that differentiate from heat prostration, heat exhaustion is in heat prostration there will be sweating and there will not be an increase in body temperature. But in case of thermic fever, there have been increased body temperature associated with lack of sweating, and it manifests as dry skin, and there have been a neurological deficit. And these are the triads by which a sunstroke can be diagnosed. Diagnosis, and we need to differentiate from other two disease conditions or other two clinical conditions need to be differentiated at the thermic fever. First and foremost, falciparum malaria infestation, and here again it manifests as high body temperature and associated with neurological deficit. And second is a poisonous condition where ingestion of datura can result in the same presentation. And how to differentiate one to another and all three in one. All right, and where in case of a thermic fever, where there will be history of exposure to high environmental temperature, but it lacks in case of malarial infection. And whether individual may belonging to an area where there will other cases that have been reported in past and in present, and where the on peripheral blood smear where malaria parasite is being detected, and in case of datura where dilated people and high body temperature are being seen, and by the history alone, right, by the history alone, where there will be a history of ingestion of datura seeds or datura poison, and when gastric lavage that has been done, where the products that has been ingested can be recovered, and by which these three clinical entities can be differentiated from one to another. And coming to the complications, right, of all general and most towards last two conditions like heat prostrations and thermic fever. And here the complications, it can manifest as lobar pneumonia and acute tubular necrosis of kidney, hepatic necrosis, myocardial fiber necrosis. It can even manifest as DIC, pancreatitis, adrenal hemorrhage, and myoglobinuria are the other associated complications that can arise as a result of exposure to high environmental temperatures. And a feature to differentiate, right, to heat exhaustion and heat stroke, one such easy feature or an easy feature is in heat exhaustion there will be excessive sweating, and in heat stroke there is no sweating at all, and it manifests as a dry skin. And by the pulse, rapid and weak pulse and rapid strong pulse, and here heat stroke associated with neurological conditions. both are life threatening, and where appropriate, uh, immediate medical attention is needed. And towards management, measures are essential, and first aid measures can be of active or otherwise passive. And the first active measure could be of removing the individual from the source of exposure, and the individual has been unclothed to minimum, where if he wearing too much of clothing, that should be removed, and he should be removed from the source site. And measuring the body temperature is other uh, by way which we are monitoring the vitals and other. And in case of the measure to lower the body temperature, where we can spray the individual with water, or otherwise immersing the individual in ice water bath is being very effective. And where if individual been immersed in ice water bath, where hypothermia will be the other associated complication, right? It should be anticipated, where routine body temperature monitoring is necessary. And as a part of a first aid measure, where hydrations can be given by mouth, or if necessary by IV at the source site itself. And if these measures fail, and where an appropriate definitive line of management is needed, right? So the individual can be transported or to be shifted to a tertiary healthcare hospital as a part of further treatment. And in definitive management, again, the monitoring vitals, and there have been depletion of electrolytes and other, right? So serum electrolytes need to be ordered, and followed by IV lines need to be assessed, and followed by fluid infusion is can be given. And in case of victim's condition, need to be reassessed, stabilized by a trained medical personnel, and routine monitoring is required. And victim need to be placed in a recovery position to ensure the airways are open. And CPR may be necessary if an individual goes to a phase of cardiac arrest. And definitive management, fluid administration, and we need to ensure there be a high urinary output, and it should be at least greater than 50 ml per hour. And in part of fluid administration, where normal saline, isotonic glucose solutions can be administered IV, and mannitol administration can decrease brain edema, and 0.25 milligram per kg is the dosage. And for alkalizing the urine, where IV bicarbonate administration can be advocated. And we need to anticipate for complications, and we need to avoid the complications, or we need to anticipate for warning signs. If there have been warning signs, an appropriate complication need to be addressed with appropriate management. And in autopsy, there will be a history, right? There will be a history, and individual will be prior to the autopsy, he will be hospitalized, where as a part of our routine, we need to obtain treatment papers, and followed by external and internal examination of the disease is necessary. Where there been a death related to hypothermia, have no specific autopsy findings in general, and the circumstance of the death that suggests hypothermia, then other possible natural causes of death need to be ruled out, right? So there is no any specific autopsy finding, only by the circumstance of the death and the history that has been suggested, and we need to rule out other causes of death. And the presentation, like temperature remains high after even death, right? And as a routine, where death has occurred, there will be fall in temperature, but in case of heat illnesses, the deceased individuals, the temperature remains high. And one such terminology from the past, post-mortem caloricity, right? And it justifies, right, where the condition where body temperature remains high even after death, and for the certain period, and followed by it starts decreasing. And in case of brain, again these are not a definitive autopsy finding, right? And it appears congested edematous and petechial hemorrhages seen in white matter and in relating to cerebral hemisphere, where there been increase in weight and flattening of convolutions. Coming to heart, where there have been dilatation of right auricle, flabbiness of the muscle, myocardial degeneration, and subepicardial and subendocardial petechial hemorrhages are seen. And other organs, where trachea, bronchi contain frothy hemorrhagic fluid, and in case of lung, there will be features of congestion, edema, hemorrhages, and lobular pneumonia as a result of a complication, and most commonly seen if an individual being surviving for a certain time period. And in case of liver, there will be central lobular necrosis, and in case of kidney, congested kidneys, hypoglobinuric nephrosis, tubular necrosis on survival are being seen. And these are the findings. These are signs and symptoms where an RMP should remember, and either you've taken a screenshot or try to remember all these signs and symptoms, right? And again, remember one such feature to differentiate heat exhaustion and heat stroke as heat exhaustion, there will be normal or subnormal temperature, and in case of heat stroke, there will be an increased body temperature. And this again a take-home message. And in case of heat exhaustion, the pulse will be weak, and in case of heat stroke, pulse will be rapid. And here you get a dry skin, and in heat exhaustion you get a moist skin. And these are minor entity, and again these two conditions doesn't require hospitalization. And heat cramps in case of extremities of age, where we need a hospitalization. Rest other nothing particular. And again, there is no any definitive autopsy findings, and the first aid measures are vital, where in part of first aid, where individual need to be removed from the exposure, and either by active or by passive mechanism, where we need to lower the body temperature, and unclothing of the individual again necessary, and even without his consent, where an act being committed, nothing is offensive, right? We are about to save his life. And in cases where it requires appropriate management in hospitalization, then the individual need to be shifted to a tertiary care center for further treatment. Thank you so much for your patient listening. If there have been doubts, queries relating to the content of the video, kindly address those issues in the comment section below, or otherwise through the social media links provided in description section. Thank you.